Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me.
Hey.
Your organization is looking stressed.
What?
And now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed. And now that you haters.
Hello. Good evening. The Rewind brought to you by Global Sports Entertainment 3. The captain, Monty Moss here. And I know you're probably wondering, what am I doing here yet again? But for special people, there are special requirements that we must do to provide a service for you, what you guys show up and show out for us each and every week on The Rewind. If you haven't, make sure you please subscribe to our YouTube channel at @TheRewind_GSC3, as well as follow us on all our social media platforms at @TheRewind_GSC3. This is not an episode. It's a special sit down, and this is an opportunity that most people aren't gifted, but when giving the opportunity, you know, it's my job to do my full best to deliver as I always do each and every week. But the power of the pivot, as I said yesterday on our episode 32, which is currently out now on all platforms streaming. Thank you for the love and support you guys have. Want to give a special thank you to my brother Chris in 1990 Studios for what he does each and every week to help The Rewind continue to grow. And as I said, you know, I'm dressed up, got to show the part, got to do my part because this is an important episode. We have an important conversation that's getting ready to take place tonight, and I'm blessed and honored to have this individual create and carve out time in his busy schedule. He's been hitting the road, been in different counties here in New Jersey, and he took time with him and his team to bless us with his presence. So I'm honored and grateful to be able to do this. This is going to be a special episode, which you guys will be able to see this Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern time on all platforms. Be on the lookout for that. But without further ado, let me introduce my guest that I was getting ready to sit down with this evening. This particular brother is an educator, a pastor, a father, and a public servant. His brother, Mr. Dale Caldwell, has spent his life serving New Jersey, including leadership roles in public sector, private sector, and higher education. He currently serves as president of Gubernatorial University. He formerly served as executive director of Rothman Institute of Innovation and Entrepreneurship at Fairleigh Dickinson University, president of the Educational Services Commission, deputy commissioner of the New Jersey Department of Community Affairs, founding executive director of the Nork Alliance, and senior manager at Deloitte Consulting. He's serving as president for 6. Dr. Dale is a pastor of the Covenant Unit Methodist Church in Plainfield, New Jersey. There he has built a congregation based on the values of inclusivity, community, and acceptance. He is guided by Proverbs 31, chapter 31, verses 8 and 9, which directs us, and quote, "Speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves." Service to others was instilled in Dale from a young age. His mother was a teacher, and his father, Reverend Gilbert Caldwell, was a leader in the civil rights movement who knew and marched arm in arm with Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Dale is an avid tennis player and coach. He was the president and CEO of the United States Tennis Association Eastern Section, founded the Black Tennis Hall of Fame, and is a current member of the Eastern Tennis Hall of Fame, which we get a little bit later on in the show. Dale currently lives in New Brunswick, New Jersey, and has one daughter, Mrs. Ashley, who is studying public policy at Rutgers University. He graduated from Princeton University in 1982, earned his master's in business administration from Wharton School of the University of Pennsylvania in 1988, and a doctorate in education administration from Seton Hall University in 2017. Go Pirates. Now, without further ado, let's get him in here for the special sit down, a special interview with the legendary New Jersey's finest candidate for Lieutenant Governor of New Jersey, Dr. Dale Caldwell. Dr. Dale, I'm going to be polite as I respect my elders tonight, so I will be calling you Dr. Dale throughout this interview. But it's an honor and privilege to have you join us on The Rewind. Thank you for taking the time out. I know you've been hitting the ground running, but how are things in your world, sir?
Well, Monty, thank you very much for having me here. As you can see, I'm in my car. This is my new home away from home. We've gone from Bergen County to Atlantic County, in today. And so this actually ends my day. But it's been a good day. And so I'm honored to be here. And thank you so much for that introduction.
Absolutely. Pleasure and privilege is all mine. I was having a previous conversation in our pre-production show meeting with Dr. Dale on how did we get here, which I won't explain, but I want to give a special thank you to my St. Matthew AME family in Orange, New Jersey, led by our pastor, Dr. Reverend Wilson, Melvin E. Wilson, who was a part of this cultivation creation to help get Dr. Dale on here. So without my St. Matthew's family, this would not have been possible. But Dr. Dale, your world has been crazy every day from Monday to Friday, even on weekends, because job's not done on the weekend. You've been on the road with different events, trying to get the word out to the people. Talk to us a little bit about what your week has been like thus far, as well as what you have been going on today with being in multiple different counties.
Well, Monty, running for lieutenant governor on the Mikey Sherrill for governor ticket has been a great honor. I never expected to be doing this. As your listeners hear, I've been involved in so many different things. And so traveling the state has been phenomenal. I really have this is an amazing state. Geographically, it's incredibly diverse. People-wise, it is. And so we're going around letting people know how important this election is. As you know, a lot of money has been taken away from a lot of the most vulnerable people. And so, Mikey and I love what we do. She loves being a congresswoman. I love being the pastor of a church and president of a university. But you can yell from the sidelines or you can jump into the game. And so Mikey and I are in this game to win it. We want to represent New Jersey in a way that can keep it strong and really make it more affordable for more and more households. So, every day I'm traveling the state. I mean, really, it's literally I'm living in the car. So I've been there. You name a community, I've been to it. Mikey and I had a great meeting with Black clergy in Trenton. And they were so very, very responsive and supportive of who we are. I was down with groups in Atlantic County, just came back from there. There was a seniors event in Bergen County with 3,000 seniors. I actually rolled up my sleeves and put out the free meals that they had. And I got to tell you, Monty, I love it. I really love the interaction with people. So even though I'm not a lifelong politician, this is who I am. It's like I'm playing the right sport. This is my sport.
Absolutely, Dr. Dale. And I want to pivot to something, because you brought up something where you haven't had a long time career in politics, but you've had a lifeline of a career in multiple different aspects in the field of life, especially being on board of directors and leading so many different causes and so many different great things for New Jersey as well as in your life. But give us a little bit of your perspective on what that adjustment has been like since being nominated to be lieutenant governor for New Jersey and being behind Mikey Sherrill. What was that like for you, knowing that this is something that you're sort of been, of course, adjusted to being a part of policy for so many years? But what's it like mentally to be able to shift your mindset to now be in the seat to help lead New Jersey, not also being behind Mickey as her being running for governor, but you as lieutenant governor?
Well, one, when I sat with Mikey and it was kind of a friend of mine who's working on the campaign said, "Hey, Daley, how'd you like to put your name in this?" So I put my name in, not really thinking there's so many incredible Democrats out there. But Mikey really liked my background and resume. And so I've been volunteering throughout my career. One of the awards that I'm most proud of is something called the Andrus Award, which is given in every state by AARP to the #1 volunteer in the state. And so 2021, I won that. And so a lot of my background has been volunteering at the USTA, volunteering 26 years on the New Brunswick Board of Education, the largest special needs district for 21 years. And so this volunteerism, Monty, to be very honest, has given me an insight into New Jersey that most politicians don't have. The work is being done by nonprofits at the community level, faith-based institutions, educational institutions, tutoring programs, nonprofits, arts organizations. And so as I'm traveling the state, I'm reconnecting with people that I've known over the last 20 years. So it's been kind of a coming home day. It's almost as if God prepared me for this. To be honest, it really is just so easy and so natural to reconnect with people I've known for years.
Absolutely. That's something that's truly remarkable when you hear about it, because normally in these type of situations, especially with the position of that level for governor, the governor normally picks someone that's probably well more seasoned, a little bit more, has a little bit more experience in a particular role of politics. But in my mind, no question, Mikey's made the great choice. Your resume speaks for itself, and you have the capabilities to help make New Jersey great again. Or I can say great again, because I wouldn't want to use that term from our former president, but basically make New Jersey greater again, because right now New Jersey, what people I feel like don't understand is that this upcoming governor race is so important and so crucial for the future of New Jersey, not also for all counties, but from Central Jersey to South Jersey and mainly North Jersey. For the people out there that may not know the importance of this upcoming race, give us a little bit more insight from your point of view. For the people that may not know, this is big. Rather for Jack Cilarelli or Mikey Sherrill, this right here is the election that's going to set us up for New Jersey for years to come.
Well, let me first give props to Mikey, because Mikey is a real leader. A woman helicopter pilot, in the military, a prosecutor. But the fact that she is confident enough to pick someone who's a little out of the box in my background, that says a lot about leaders. Whether it's a sports team or other, you pick people who you think are the best for the job that maybe people don't think they may not fit a traditional mold. And so the fact that Mikey wanted to pick me, who doesn't fit that traditional mold, really means a lot. But this election is, and you hear it all the time, this election is the most important election in your lifetime. But this really is. What a lot of people don't understand is Jack, and I call him Jack Trump because he's aligned with Trump, has said, I don't disagree with anything Donald Trump is saying. So let's examine that. The shoreline. I love the Jersey Shore. We have among the most beautiful shoreline. Because of the Trump administration, emergency funding for the shore was taken away. So if you love the shore, there's no reason to vote for Jack Trump. If you have, my mom has Alzheimer's, I have cancer in my family. And so the Trump administration, the Jack Trump administration, has taken away research for Alzheimer's and cancer. So understand, when you stop research, it takes years to catch that up. So people are going to die because of this Jack Trump administration. You are on Medicaid. You're struggling in life. You've had health problems or other things. That Medicaid, I think it's about 600,000 people are going to be taken off Medicaid. Medicare, you're a senior. I mean, all of these things. So if you refuse not to vote, or you vote for Jack Trump, you are basically endorsing these cuts and making New Jersey more unaffordable. Mikey and I have laid out a plan. Mikey has said she's refusing. I mean, she's fixing and limiting and stopping any increases in utility rates. Many of us are struggling because the utility bills have gone higher. So let me make that really clear, that those rates are being held fixed for a year. Then we talk about the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. That affordable housing, there's a trust fund a lot of people don't know about that really helps to make housing more affordable. We're not diverting money from that. We want to keep it in there. They're first-time home buyers. We want to make sure that the opportunities for first-time home buyers and first-generation home buyers are there. So affordability is so critical, and our opponents are basically trying to make New Jersey unaffordable. It really is crazy. So that's why it's so important. And what we're trying to do is let people know the impact to everybody's individual families because of this. And then we can talk some more about education and some other things.
Absolutely. You bring up the point, trying to lower costs, and of course the electric bills, as well as the bills in general in New Jersey have gone up substantially over the last few years, predominantly in this year alone of 2025. We know what the Trump administration and his great plan for MAGA and everything that Jack supports, he's all for that. And in my opinion, someone like that to be in a position of power is not good for the future, because it only benefits a certain percentage of people. But my question to you is in regards to sustainable and affordable green energy. Many families want affordable bills today, of course, including myself. A lot reliable and sustainable energy for the future. What are some of the conversations that you and Mikey have had in terms of putting plans in place to deliver both lowering the cost, but more importantly, investing in renewable and clean energy solutions?
Well, as we're talking about, I mean, the out-of-control utility costs are crushing New Jersey families, really all New Jersey families. Mikey has said on day one that she's declaring a state of emergency on utility costs. And so to end the rate hikes, to drive down the bills of everybody, and to build our state's energy arsenal. Well, what does that mean? Well, it means more solar. Solar is a clean and affordable energy, more battery storage, even more nuclear. And so Mikey and I are gonna hold the grid operators and utilities accountable. And so we have to demand changes so that we can get the new electricity, the support for it to go up. And we need to make sure that there's a process and a plan to go forward. And so Mikey, again, is the only one who has talked about having this very, very clear plan to make sure that we not only freeze the increase in rates, the rate hikes, but also to explore new ways. There are other technology issues. And one of the things I love about Mikey is that she's an incredible listener. And so we will work with different groups in the state to understand some innovative new ways to really address the energy challenges. So technology has given us some opportunities to do things we've never been able to do before. We want to make that part of this administration and this focus on rates.
Absolutely. It's something I want to bring up, and it's been something that I've had conversations with privately. And of course, I wasn't old enough, I should say, during the Great Depression in 2008 and the market crash and how that affected New Jersey and families. I know my family was affected in a certain degree with me living with my grandmother. But I will say now, Dr. Della, as a young Black African-American in America, right now in my current life, I'm scared as hell. Because of some of the things that have transpired, not also in the world, but are transpiring in New Jersey. The cost of living has gone up, gas prices, of course, supermarket prices in terms of groceries. Times are changing. But, a lot of things in terms of budget cuts and cutting costs and cutting jobs, it's been like wildfire for the entire 2025 year. And that's me seeing it from my field that I work in, as well as seeing friends that I went to college with that have been in their jobs, trying to get their feet wet, trying to make a way to set themselves up for the future, but them getting laid off. Many other different people getting laid off, and not also New Jersey, but in the country. But jobs and economic security is something that's really, really important as we end 2025, as well as trying to get off to a good start in 2026. But job cuts and unemployment are rising, and many families are worried about losing financial stability, which is important. What are some things that you feel that you and Mikey can do together that can help bring good-paying, stable jobs back to New Jersey and putting more stability into families throughout the entire great state?
That's a phenomenal question, and really that is the question of the day. And so, when I was at Fairleigh Dickinson, I ran their entrepreneurial institute, working with family businesses across the state, really understanding the unique needs and challenges of small businesses. When I became president of Centenary, we started the Institute of Entrepreneurship, where we actually are consulting to local businesses, helping our students learn how to do that. Small businesses and entrepreneurship are the foundation of this economy. More than 50% of the jobs come from small businesses. People don't realize how important small businesses are to really grow New Jersey. But many of them are struggling. Many of them are dealing with issues with working with government, growing their operations, dealing with paperwork. And so Mikey has laid out this save you time and money agenda, which make it easier not only to grow a business, but also to start a business. And so what does that mean? That means cutting business and professional license wait times. There's so many opportunities with licenses, but New Jersey has among the most regulations on licenses. So we've got to cut those wait times so people can start earning money. Expand the Business Action Center. In the Department of State, there's something called the Business Action Center. That Action Center provides support, free support, taxpayer-funded support for these small businesses. Many businesses don't take advantage of that. So we really want to expand that so that the businesses can have the guidance so that they can grow the way they need to. Permitting reform. Oftentimes permitting prevents businesses from being successful. So we've got to work about that. But one of the things when I first sat down with Mikey and we were talking about possibly working together, she said, I have this dream of a dashboard so that businesses and individuals can see where they are in the state. They apply oftentimes to a black hole where their applications disappear and they don't know what's happening. We've got to stop that. We've got to make sure there's communication. So there are many, many jobs, literally thousands of jobs that can come from small businesses if they're given the right support. So it's critical to do that. Obviously, we're big supporters of labor. Labor and is so critical to the state. And there are really many jobs that have gone unfilled in labor. One of the things I worked at as president of Centenary is with a group called the Ideal Institute of Technology. that created vocational jobs. One of the things that we discovered is that during the pandemic, many students really didn't like school. It was a horrible time to go to school. So they said to their parents, I don't want to go to college. I want to do some vocational stuff and earn money quickly. So this program actually gets young people in construction engineering, HVAC engineering, robotics, and those types of things. What we're finding is many of the students learn that and actually enjoy it, start their own business, and said, I need a finance degree. So part of it is really creating vocational jobs so that we can get people into apprentice programs to create that. So really labor and small business have so many more opportunities to create jobs that really haven't been explored in the past to the extent that they could be.
Woo, that's important. I think it's a message for the younger generation as myself. I think there's a lot of opportunities that are on the table, but it starts with us, more importantly, to help lead this charge in terms of voting. I feel a lot of my age group isn't really as active in understanding the importance of not also, yes, voting for presidency is important, but staying within your state and voting for policies and voting for people in different leadership positions is extremely crucial. Rather it's the mayor, rather it's the councilman, or even the governor, my generation has to do our part to help be more involved. How do we roll our sleeves up and educate one another to be able to come together as one to lead the charge to help put these things in place? Because if we're just going to sit back and not do nothing, then we're in trouble. And one thing that I know that I believe with Mikey and you, things will get done. They will get done the right way. Yes, everyone wants results immediately, but in politics, it just doesn't work that way. There's a lot of different steps, a lot of different avenues you have to go down, policy, grants, approvals. So I believe in it, and I know the people of New Jersey will believe in it, and we will get to talk about that a little bit more before we end tonight's episode. But I want to pivot real quick. I want to pivot because a lot of people don't know, Dr. Dale, that you have an athletic background. I said it earlier that you are inducted into the Tennis Hall of Fame, USTA Eastern Region Tennis Hall of Fame. But talk to me a little bit about your tennis background, because I know a great brother by the name of Todd Sherman, a member at High End Cigars, where I'm a member at, and he's been playing professionally. He's been coaching tennis for over 45 years. And the stories that he shares and the amount of athletes that he empowers with his coaching, with his ability to know the game, from mechanics to serving to all the things that go into making a complete tennis player. But talk to me a little bit about you, Dr. Dale, being a tennis player, being a person that has put in the work, and obviously being recognized for your excellence by being inducted into the East Region Tennis Hall of Fame. Talk to me a little about that.
Well, I talked about my dad marching with Dr. King, but my dad grew up in Galveston, Texas, and there was a white-only tennis club where literally you had to wear white, you had to be white. And so my dad vowed that his firstborn son would be a tennis player. So he got me started early in an urban program, and so I started playing very early. And actually, tennis has been a foundation of my life. I started to do real well. I got ranked regionally, and then I've gotten ranked nationally. And so what I love about tennis is that it forces you to develop discipline. When you make a mistake, you can look to your left, you can look to your right. You can't blame anybody else but yourself. And so it really founds that foundation. And so I played at a high level for a long time. I played at Princeton when I was there. I played on our varsity B team because the A team was number 5 in the country, and 5 of the players played on the tour. But I also got into teaching tennis and giving back. And so for 30 years, I was a certified tennis teacher. And so and my greatest time as a tennis teacher on the court, I had a chance to teach tennis with Arthur Ashe. So Arthur Ashe actually wanted, he was involved with the Black NBA Association, and he wanted young black executives to learn tennis so they could network and be able to get better jobs and make more money. And so I had a chance. They picked me as one of the pros to teach with Arthur Ashe. And so tennis has done so much. Tennis was a key. I was ranked number 5 in Connecticut, and I got accepted into Princeton. And so I wanted to give back. So I volunteered. And so I became the first black, and unfortunately the only black president of the USTA Eastern section. And so one of the things my dad taught me is that when you're in a position of influence, you want to use that position for good. And so I actually, when I first started as president, I called up the International Tennis Hall of Fame and spoke to a guy named Tony Trabert, who was number 1 in the world at one time, and said, Negro League Baseball the major leagues did a lot of good things with Negro League baseball. We need to do something with the American Tennis Association. The American Tennis Association was founded in 1916 because blacks weren't allowed to play in the white tennis world. And so they agreed to do an exhibit. So I was the curator of an exhibit called Breaking the Barriers that appeared in the 2007 US Open, that 30,000 people saw that exhibit. And it really talked about, everyone thinks Althea Gibson or Arthur Ashe were the only two. There's a woman named Ora Washington who was not only the best tennis player, she was the best basketball player, a female basketball player in the country. So there's a long history of it. And so in doing that, and I actually wrote a book called Tennis in New York and another book called Breaking the Barriers. So that got me into this and leading that section. So the combination of being ranked, being a leader, and having done that. And then I got on the USTA, United States Tennis Association board, which oversees all of the US Open. And so I've had a chance to really administer and see tennis from every level. And the thing, it's hard for me to go now because when I was on the board, I would be in the president's box. I got to meet Aretha Franklin. I really have a chat with her. So all these legends were there. So that's been a big part of my tennis thing. And I'm trying to give back to young people. The other thing that Arthur Ashe knew when he started this National Junior Tennis League is that tennis is tremendous for urban kids because it deals with the emotions. It helps you manage your emotions. Because once you get your forehand down, you think you're going to hit it the same way all the time, but you don't. You want to throw the racket and you want to do that. So you develop that emotional thing. So tennis has been a big part of who I am.
I must admit, Dr. Dale, I've only played tennis a few times with my mentor, Kevin Morrison. But I'd be honest, individually, I love tennis from a mental competitive standpoint because each set, each serve matters. It doesn't matter what you did previously. It doesn't matter what you do in that current moment. There are no coaches on the sideline. That there are no four other players you have on the basketball court. It's mano a mano, your game versus your opponents. But the style of play to me from a mental standpoint is huge because you have to continuously be one step, if not two steps ahead of your opponent. And for you being in the Tennis Hall of Fame, my quick question to you is, give me your fondest moment as a tennis player as you reflect on your tennis career.
Well, one of the things that really got me going in life is my dad, my late father, and I went down to Baltimore to play a tournament when I was 14. I won't tell you what year that was, but when I was 14, and I actually won my first tournament, and I still have this trophy. It was a wooden trophy with that, and ever since then I've loved trophies. Ever since then I've loved pushing myself beyond my comfort zone. So that moment really helped me to strive. And so a lot of the things I've succeeded at since then have been rooted in that and winning that tennis tournament in Baltimore. And so I just still remember that feeling of winning your first tournament. There's nothing like that. And that really has been truly foundational. Obviously teaching tennis with Arthur Ashe was a key part of it. The other thing is when I was on the board of the USTA, David Dinkins retired, Mayor David Dinkins, and we became good friends. And he was good friends, believe it or not, with Sean Connery. They were best friends, believe it or not. And when Andy Murray won the US Open, I was sitting in the middle of David Dinkins on my right and Sean Connery on my left. I'm a big James Bond fan. Watching Andy Murray, and there's nothing better than that. I can't watch another match with that two of my heroes were with me. So that was just a dream come true.
You talk about Aretha Franklin earlier, and I grew up, my grandma, we used to watch Soul Train every Saturday morning, breakfast being served. So I'm a huge Aretha Franklin fan. Anytime Call Me comes on and that piano starts in that intro, it's just Aretha, Shaka Khan, Al Green, Teddy Pendergrass. Earth, Wind and Fire, Ozzy Brothers. I can go on and on. I may be young, Dr. Dale, but I'm an old soul. But when we talk about today's game of tennis, and of course, just wrapping up the U.S. Open a few weeks ago, you have Alcaraz, who's at the top of the world right now, being number one, winning the U.S. Open. We have Djokovic, who's a legend in the game, who we may not know how many more years he has ahead of him. But in the women rankings, right, when we talk about Coco Gauff, who went through a critical point in the U.S. Open with making some changes to her team and, of course, not being able to win it. But who are some of your favorite stars that you like to watch on the men's side as well as the women's?
Well, Shelton is. I knew, his dad was a big player. So Brian Shelton is, just his incredible serve. Coco, I tease my daughter. My daughter is pretty much the same age as Coco, and I'm telling her, "What do you do with your life?" Coco's, Coco's making millions, and so. But one of the, I was, Arthur Ashe and Roger Federer were my two of my favorites, and I'm a one-hander, so I'm always partial to the one-hand backhand. But Roger Federer last year or 2 years ago gave a commencement address in Dartmouth, and I don't know if you realize or remember, he said, "I won 80% of my matches, but I won only 54% of my points." And so it's important, in that lesson to forget the past. The other thing I will say is that people don't realize is that in urban and suburban areas, the athletes with the highest GPAs are tennis players. And the other thing is that tennis players, the research shows, live 9 years longer than folks in other sports. So I mentioned all this. So Brian Shelton, there are a number of, Coco, there's some of the older players that are on the verge of retirement, but it's just a great. And I encourage people to go to the U.S. Open, because what people don't realize is the NFL is fantastic on TV. It's just great on TV. Tennis is not as good on TV. You've got to go there to see how incredible these athletes are. And I would put these athletes up against any athletes in the world. In fact, way back, long before you were born, in the 70s, they had the wide world of sports. And they used to have a competition between all the athletes. And this guy named Rod Laver won it twice. He beat all the football players and the basketball players. And so it's an incredible sport. But I love basketball. I used to be able to dunk. It's frustrating I can't dunk anymore. But, age is not for the weak. As you get older, I'm telling you.
Dr. Dale, one of the things I say to people is you're not old. Regardless of your age, you're not old. And there's an older gentleman that when I'm at the gym, and me and him had an opportunity. We see each other all the time in passing. We say hello. But he's like, "Oh, man, I'm so old. I'm just tired." I said, "Let me ask you something. Can you get out of bed on your own?" "Yes." "Can you do what you want to do on your own?" "Yes." "Do you have the ability to breathe and show up to the gym to work out?" "Yes." Then you're not old. If you can't do any of those things, when you can't physically get out of bed in the morning on your own, then that may be when you can enter the conversation of being old. But at this current time, Dr. Dale, you're in great shape as a former athlete. You're leading the charge both mentally and physically. Old, don't even put that in your vocabulary. You are seasoned. You have a lot of wisdom, and the best is yet to come. But let's piggyback. We got some important dates I want to share with everybody that will be tuning into this. October 14th is the voter registration deadline for the general election. October 22nd is the mailing of sample ballots for the general election. October 25th through November 2nd is the early in-person voting period for the general elections. October 28th is the deadline to apply for a vote-by-mail ballot by mail for general elections. November 3rd by 3 p.m. Eastern time, deadline for in-person mail-in ballot application for the general elections, and the day that all of us will be waiting for once we do our part and vote, November 4th from 6 a.m. Eastern time to 8 p.m. Eastern time. The polls will be open, and election day will be here upon us on November 4th. So please, if you haven't, stay tuned for these important dates. Make sure you do your part to vote, rather by ballot or by in person or by mail. But this right here in New Jersey is as good as it's going to get as we push into October, as we get ready for the governor race between Jack Cilarelli and Democratic candidate Mikey Sherrill, as well as Lieutenant Governor Dr. Dale Caldwell. November 4th, we got to do our part. Let's get him in. Let's get him in office. Let's go. So, Dr. Dale, you guys are putting in the work. You've got your sleeves rolled up. Every day is a new day, another opportunity to show New Jersey why Mikey Sherrill is the right candidate for governor, and to show people why Dr. Dale Caldwell is the right candidate for lieutenant governor. But when we talk about these dates right here in particular, what is your message to the people in New Jersey from October 14th to November 3rd?
Well, now remember, vote by mail drops September 20th. So the vote by mail, people can actually do vote by mail. And so one of the reasons we like about vote by mail is people fill out the whole ballot. So they make sure they vote for everybody on the ballot. And one of the things that I tell folks is that, this is such a critical election. And so it impacts all of us. I talked about some of the things on the top of the show about money being taken away from Shore Emergency, Medicare, Medicaid, research dollars, and so on. And so what we have to do is we have to relate it to voters in a way that they feel it personally, to understand that, what does this mean to my family? What does this mean to me? And so we're really telling folks, that this means a lot as far as education for your family, as far as affordability, as far as utility rates. And so I'm telling folks to get out, to get your family out, get your parents, your brothers, your sisters, your kids, their best friends, the grocery store. Ask people, when are you voting? You know, we have to make it a culture in society. And as I say, as an African-American man, I have relatives that died for the right to vote, you know, the right of suffrage. And so we need to understand that this is a privilege that we all have, doesn't cost us anything, and yet it is so impactful for who we are. And so part of this is not just winning, by a few points. We want to send a message to Washington. We want to send a message to Donald Trump and his administration, which wants to take over cities, wants to put a military occupation into cities. I have not yet to meet anybody that thinks that's a good idea in New Jersey. You know, and as I said, the Republican Congress has abdicated responsibility. The Supreme Court has abdicated responsibility to Trump. If Jack Trump wins, then what happens is New Jersey is going to abdicate its authority to Trump. And so we're fighters in New Jersey. We're folks who are very proud of this state. We're coming up on the 250th anniversary of New Jersey in this country. So I think if we can send a message that New Jersey is independent, New Jersey is strong, New Jersey is headstrong, New Jersey votes, and New Jersey residents really care about creating a state that is for everybody, so that everybody can prosper in this state, everybody can go forward in a way that makes New Jersey more affordable than ever before.
Dr. Dale, I'm getting ready to go on a little rant because you know I did my homework prior to you coming on. And this part right here is very crucial for not also for the future of New Jersey, but what has been going on in 2025. We talk about funding. We talk about education. In July 2020 of 2025, July 25 this year, the Trump administration froze $140 million in federal funds for New Jersey schools. Now, many people may not know what that means, but let me break it down to you on what this means. These funds have already been approved by Congress, but were held back over disputes about program spending. Governor Phil Murphy urged the administration to release the money, calling the freeze unlawful and harmful to students. What these funds actually cover, $140 million, stay with me, tutoring and academic support, summer schools and after-school programs, teacher training and professional development, services for English learners and migrant students, some extracurricular and enrichment, including sports in certain districts. Who is most affected by this, right? Large urban districts like Newark, where I'm from, where federal dollars make up a higher share of budgets, low-income families rely on free tutoring, after-school care, meal programs, English learners, and immigrant students who depend on targeted support. Why it matters to voters. Cuts can mean larger class sizes, fewer teachers, fewer programs and offerings. Loss of college prep program hurts students' chance of getting into affordable higher education. And the state backfills the gap. New Jersey taxpayers may shoulder an additional cost on top of that. Key numbers, as I said, $140 million frozen in New Jersey schools. 30% of Newark students are English learners, among the most vulnerable to cuts. Federal funding accounts for 7 to 10% of New Jersey's total K through 12 budget, but up to 20% in higher need districts. Now, I'm not an educator. I'm not a big guru in education. I've worked my way to get to where I got, but let's understand this. Newark, New Jersey, and I know New Jersey as a whole is a big state, but in Newark, education is crucial. And with the Trump administration freezing $140 million that is needed for New Jersey education to help develop immigrant students that come here that want to give themselves the opportunity for higher education and higher learning, want to put things in place to help students get the opportunities that people like myself hadn't got when coming up in high school. And this is an important thing, Dr. Dale, and I'm not sure what this looks like, but I wish it could be in every high school, rather public or private, and that's an early college program. And what I mean by that is my high school where I graduated from, Eastside High School in Newark, they have a program in place where as a junior, you can go to the community college, which is Essex County College. We have a GAP program where Essex County, they work with our juniors to give them that early opportunity to earn college credits. So by the time that program is over, think about this. As a senior graduating high school, you also graduate with your associate's degree. That sets you up so much for your future in education, where you can go into any four-year college institution, rather public or private. ahead of the game. And I just wish, I know $140 million is a lot of money, but we need things like this in place throughout the entire state of New Jersey to give a lot of kids the opportunity to excel and get ahead. Because I know when I was in high school, I didn't have that. And I'm jealous because I wish I can go back. To graduate as a senior and have my associate's degree is important. And you know, a lot of people are infected by this with low-income opportunities that will be effective from the education piece. After school programs being cut. I mean, I remember being an after school program where that saved hundreds of lives in New Jersey, because you had an opportunity from 4 p.m. to about 6 p.m. where you had no kids on the street, no violence was being done, education was being taken more seriously. Yes, and they come out with the word cuts, budget cuts, and having opportunities like that for children, more importantly, to advance their learning, where if I'm not getting what I need during the academic school day, I have the opportunity to connect with my teacher one-on-one or in the after-school program to help develop my skills or help develop the confidence that I may not have in a classroom with a size of 20. So, Dr. Dale, I just had to bring some facts because, you know, I can't have you on and not bring
I love
facts.
it. I love it. Hey, man, I love it. And you're right on target. And so the reality is we're talking about a K to 16 system. I mean, this is being a college president, having been on a school board for 26 years. What you're talking about is dual enrollment, the dual enrollment programs to expand that. So that in high school, you can start taking college courses. But there's something else that's really important. And that when I was running a school in Trenton, many of our kids had what looked like it was PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. And so this urban traumatic stress disorder is really critical to really help our students at every sector of New Jersey learn more effectively. So the dollars that you spent can go a lot longer if you really address some of the key needs of students. And so I'm going to make a announcement here on the show that I used to be president of the Educational Services Commission, and there's a report coming out next week that indicates that the ESC&J, because of the operation and rates, has saved over 10 years the taxpayers $210 million. And so there are ways to find money in programs and through cost savings and operational efficiencies that can help things become more effective in spite of the draconian Jack Trump cuts. So people have to understand that this impacts you. If you vote for Jack Ciattarelli, you're taking money away from education, taking money away from SHORE, from Medicare, from Medicaid, from research. So I to be honest, I don't understand why anybody would seriously consider making New Jersey more unaffordable.
Yeah, and you talked about it earlier with these electric rates in New Jersey has spiked and becoming a top issue in the governor's race. But I feel like you guys have a plan in place to put this thing under control. As you said earlier, Mikey Sherrill has already proposed freezing rate hikes as well as declaring a state of emergency of utility costs. But Jack Ciattarelli, what people don't understand is that he is currently blaming current energy policies, opposing offshore wind and pushing for more natural gas and nuclear power. Now, that doesn't make any sense to me when I hear that in regards to the future of New Jersey. The future of New Jersey has nothing to do with nuclear powers. It has more to do with how do we put things in place, practices in place to lower electric bill costs, electric costs. You guys have a plan for that, but this is what's really at stake here when we talk about it. Family budgets, right? Rising electric bills force families to make trade-offs between energy and essentials like food or rent. Affordable crisis. Utility bills are part of New Jersey's higher cost of living. And infrastructure and supply options include solar, wind, battery power, storage, nuclear, and modernizing gas plants. Limits of state control. Some rate drivers come from nuclear energy markets outside of a state authority. But this is it for me, Dr. Dale. I'm going to do my part because I have responsibility in this now with you being on the Rewind for a special sit down. I will do my part both from my social media standpoint as well as my public standpoint, any place I'm at, to encourage the people around me or any room that I am in, as well as empowering the youth that are eligible to vote, the importance of why we need to vote for this upcoming election on November 3rd for the governor's race. Yes, Jack, a lot of people are rooting for him from all the wrong reasons. But damn it, if you have a sense of urgency, if you have a brain that brains, if you can think about the importance of what New Jersey means to you, Mikey Sherrill and Dr. Dale are the two candidates that you need to put a vote in for to help make New Jersey great again, greater again, because let's just face it, if Jack Trump wins, New Jersey is going to be a red state. And a lot of people are praising that, but more importantly, New Jersey has always and will continue to be a blue state, and that's a Democratic. So please vote. Be ready to vote. It starts and it ends on November 3rd. November 3rd will be game day. It will be another day that Dr. Dale Caldwell gets to show up and compete for the opportunity to win as Mikey Sherrill, and Dr. Dale Caldwell for Lieutenant Governor. November 3rd is the end, 6 a.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern time. Rather you get in person or mail in, please do your part. Dr. Dale, any closing remarks as we sign off here on this special sit down on the Rewind?
Well, Monty, thank you very much. And it's so important, as you said, to vote. But I also want to say that, Mikey and I believe sports is a critical component. Sport, her children are athletes. And so really making sport for all of the sports fans out there, which is most of your audience, that we really want to celebrate sports in a way that that hasn't been done before. We also have, next year I talked about the 250th. We have the biggest sporting event in the world here in New Jersey, right, with the World Cup. And so,
yes.
There's going to be all sorts of things leading up to that. So it's going to be an exciting time, an exciting year. But you've got to vote, and you've got to vote for folks that are going to make New Jersey more affordable, that care about improving education, that really want New Jersey to get to the next level of success. And so I thank you, Monty, for this opportunity. And Mikey thanks you as well. And get out and vote.
Absolutely. Pleasure is all mine, Dr. Dale. Please vote for Mikey Sherrill for governor, as well as supporting Dr. Dale as he will be in the seat for lieutenant governor. I'm all for speaking things into existence. And I'll leave you with this quote from Romans chapter 8, verses 18. It goes, "The pain of what you're feeling is nothing compared to the joy that's coming." Joy is coming, New Jersey. Be patient, but you got to do your part. November 3rd, that's when joy of New Jersey will begin. Dr. Dale Caldwell, always an honor and a privilege. Thank you for taking the time out to join us on the Rewind. You can catch this special episode on Monday, 3 o'clock Eastern time on all platforms, as well as follow us and like and subscribe to our YouTube channel at @3one_GSC3. Dr. Dale, I have yet to meet you in person. I've meeting you virtually tonight, which is an honor and a privilege, but I look forward to meeting you in person, be able to shake your hand and give you a hug. And more importantly, thank you for the time and best of luck along the way. You have our support. We're rooting for you and Mikey. Let's get the damn job done. Let's seal a deal November 3rd, and let's get ready to make change for New Jersey. Dr. Dale, thank you for your time. I love you and hope to see you soon.
Love you too, man. I look forward to meeting you in person. Take care, Monty. Take care, audience. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Please vote.
Please vote. If you didn't know, Dr. Dale has a relationship with former NFL Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, Tony Dungy. Man, Super Bowl champion, Coach Peyton Manning was arguably the reason the Tampa Bay Buccaneers won in 2002 when John Gruden took over. But, man, you got to love it. Tennis Hall of Famer, jack of all trades. Don't vote for Jack Trump. Mikey Sherrill, the candidate. Thank you, Dr. Dale. I love you. Enjoy the rest of your evening, and best of luck. Whatever you need from us, we're here to help.
Thank you much. Thank you much.
Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me.
Hey.
Your organization is looking stressed.
What?
And now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed. And now that you haters is running from me,